Hello, my name is Christine Sund, and I'm the assistant principal at Cape Elementary. 2.6 is teachers have opportunities to observe and discuss effective teaching. Based on our survey data in November of last school year, our leading indicator 2.6 is an area of growth for us, for teachers having the opportunity to observe and discuss effective teaching. Our teachers currently participate in grade level PLCs, and we started the implementation of Walkabout Wednesdays last school year and second semester. But based on these results, while parents feel positively about opportunities for teachers to observe and discuss effective teaching with a score of 4.38, there is still room for improvement as scored by administrators, staff, and students. So to address this, we have created an action plan to implement. This action plan will improve opportunities for teachers to observe and discuss effective teaching practices through structured peer observations. We're going to expand on our Walkabout Wednesdays and the integration of video-based instructional reviews, fostering a culture of collaboration and continuous improvement. Ways that what we are going to do for our action plan is, the first thing we're going to do is expand and structure our Walkabout Wednesdays. We need to refine that and kind of expand so we can improve the Walkabout Wednesdays. We've learned from what works and what doesn't work from last school year, and so we definitely want to expand that structure of our Walkabout Wednesdays, which is very similar. It is like instructional rounds. So our goal for that is to create a more structured, accessible, and purposeful peer observation opportunities across all grade levels. The action steps for this is we are going to expand our model classrooms by identifying teachers who excel in specific instructional areas and create a list of these teachers for regular observations. Last school year, we didn't have enough model classrooms for people to go in and to observe. We had a lot of teachers that really wanted to go and observe their colleagues doing certain Marzano strategies and best practices. However, we didn't have enough model classrooms to support that need. And so administration and the leadership team created a list of strengths of teachers that we knew teachers did very well, and asked them if they could be a model classroom for those strategies and those to focus on specific elements that are on our CAPES model of instruction framework. We're also going to develop a better schedule so that teachers can observe specific classrooms based on areas of professional interest or development. And we get guest teachers to cover classrooms. That way they can have classroom coverage, because it doesn't always work out that the model classroom is doing the strategy when the teacher maybe has planning time. So we want to make sure that teachers are getting their classes covered to go and observe observations and best practices and teaching strategies when it is going to be done in those model classrooms. And then we're also going to conduct brief sessions where participating teachers can have the opportunity to come back and discuss their observations. They can share insights and reflect on the effective teaching strategies that they observed and share with their colleagues. Not only is it sharing best practices, but it gets more buy-in, because when it comes from the colleagues and they hear that something went really well, then they get excited and there's more buy-in, because then they hear different ways that they can implement those strategies into their classroom. So just really increasing those conversations around effective teaching strategies. We also would like to integrate video-based instructional reviews. Our goal for that is to provide opportunities for teachers to reflect on their own teaching and engage in collaborative discussions about effective practices. We're going to ask teachers if they wouldn't mind recording themselves and uploading those self-recorded videos of lessons that highlight key instructional strategies or techniques aligned with our model of instruction. We know sometimes teachers can be uncomfortable, but we know the power in recording yourself and watching it. You can learn not only from yourself, but then others could learn as well. And there's a lot of great things going on at Cape Elementary that we want to share those things with the other colleagues, because we all know no matter how long you've been teaching, 1 year or 20 years or 30 years, we can all learn from one another because we all have strengths and weaknesses. All right, the next action plan item is to refine PLCs to focus on effective teaching discussions. So our teachers currently participate in PLCs every week, and so we just want to kind of refine those and tighten those expectations up during PLCs. So the goal for that is to ensure that professional learning community meetings emphasize the discussions on effective teaching practices. So some things that we'll do is we'll revise the PLC agendas to include a dedicated time for discussing effective teaching practices. A lot of times the teachers will really use that agenda to guide the flow of the PLC. So having that part of the agenda will remind them that that is an ongoing thing that is expected to be discussed during PLCs. And then we're also going to make sure that those discussions also are focused on our model of instruction. That way we can encourage teachers to reflect on how these elements are being implemented in classrooms, and again, learning from one another. And when we're discussing standards that need to be taught, different ways that they can use strategies to teach different skills and concepts. We really want to increase engagement, student engagement, and the way to that is making sure that we are planning engaging, interactive, and collaborative lessons for our students. The next thing on our action plan is to monitor progress and collect feedback. So our goal for that is to continuously assess the effectiveness of the peer observations, our Walkabout Wednesdays, the discussions during PLC. The only way to really know if it's working or not only is it through seeing the progress by observation, but getting honest feedback from our teachers and staff. And so it's important for us as admin and as the leadership team to get feedback from the teachers and the staff that are living that on a daily basis. They're the ones in there doing it on a daily basis. They're the ones participating and living that. And so getting their honest feedback is going to make us be able to revise as needed and listen to their suggestions and feedback so we can perfect it as the best that we can. So the goal for that, or our action steps for that, so we can meet the needs of our teachers, is to conduct those surveys to gather feedback from teachers, the staff on the effectiveness of Walkabout Wednesdays. What's going well, what's not, what's keeping them back from going? Is it working? Is our process working? And do we need to tweak it? We already know from last school year, since it was our first time implementing Walkabout Wednesdays, we learned some things that needed to be changed, which is why we have this action plan so we can make it better and more purposeful for our teachers. And then also those PLC discussions, making sure that those discussions are happening during PLCs. But the biggest thing is making sure that we're monitoring that progress, see if it's working, and collecting that feedback from our staff. That way we can improve the instructional strategies and process. And then we'll make sure to review that feedback, to make adjustments, and then to continue to structure or restructure the Walkabout Wednesdays, and also the video-based reviews as well. We know a lot of times teachers are nervous about recording themselves, so we hope as they see that this is non-evaluative and it's really just for us to continue to learn from each other and share the wonderful things that we're going, we hope that they will become more comfortable with videotaping themselves, if not to share with staff, at least for themselves to go back and watch themselves teaching so they can learn from things that they are or aren't doing. And then the last thing on our action plan is to build a culture of collaborative professional development. So our goal for that is to foster a supportive environment where teachers feel comfortable learning from one another. And so our action steps for that is to establish teacher learning partners and during Marzano PLCs, where teachers are paired up based on their complementary strengths and areas for growth, encouraging that collaboration and mutual support. So putting them in a PLC, a Marzano PLC, not a grade level PLC, but having Marzano PLCs based on the element that they chose, that they want to focus on this semester, making them in a support group so they can share how they're implementing that element and those best teaching practices, and share different ways that they are implementing it so they can learn from each other and really improve their craft as teachers. And so we're hoping that the Marzano PLCs and having those teacher learning partners will help with that mutual support and collaboration. Also, we're going to recognize and celebrate exemplary teaching practices during staff meetings, highlighting the teachers who have been observed demonstrating effective practices. So one way, in order for us to get them to be comfortable doing a model classroom or doing a video, is to really build them up and let them know that they are doing great things. We are all our worst critic, and so teachers are really hard on themselves, and so they don't realize how great they're doing. And so hearing it from administration and really letting them know how great they are doing, or when we see something, making sure that we're taking the time to recognize and celebrate that with them. And I think asking them to be a model classroom can build their confidence. And again, if we can continue to build the confidence of all teachers and showing them that they all have strengths, will hopefully then encourage them to do it more often and to buy into our action plan. And we're going to encourage teachers to share their learning from observations and video reviews during school-wide professional development days. Again, we can all learn so much from one another, and that's what it's all about, is working smarter, not harder. And that's what we say a lot. We really, we have great things going on at Cape Elementary, and we want them to all continue to be lifelong learners. We expect our students to be lifelong learners, but us as educators need to continue to focus on our strengths and areas for growth and continue to be lifelong learners ourselves. And that is our goal here at Cape Elementary. Thank you and have a great day.